The Cecilia Makiwane Hospital in the Eastern Cape has been hit by vandalism. Stolen cables have caused severe disruptions in the hospital, with only critical areas being operational at present. The hospital has had to move some of its patients to neighboring facilities. Well, let's get more on this story, get the latest now, and let's speak to reporter Ronald Masinda. Good afternoon, Ronald. Where are you at now? What's happening? We understand the local community with some MK veterans have been raiding some scrapyards looking for the cables stolen from Cecilia Makiwane Hospital.
Well, Praten, it's actually community forum from Mdantsane who are wearing the camouflage. But what has happened has sparked outrage and a lot of anger from people living in Mdantsane, especially at Unit 9, which is just very close to where this particular incident took place on Tuesday, where it's alleged that a few criminals tried to break in to Cecilia Makiwane and destroyed and vandalized very important infrastructure. But what we have seen throughout the course of this particular raid is alleged stolen cables. We are also seeing what looks like or what appears to be drugs, Praten, mandrax, as one of the gentlemen alluded to, and large sums of money. We're going to try and not show faces of alleged perpetrators, but what we can do, Praten, is maybe get a quick word from one of the people who are part of this community forum. Tata ngicela uphinde usondele kancinci, sibona ndoni ngoku intoni phambi kwethu?
Lesibonayo ngoku le ipilisi lesibona mandrax kunye nemali yayo ekucaca into yokuba umsebenzi abawenzayo lona baphila ngalento. Then apha itiki lena lento kuthiwa yithufu xa siyibizayo apha le kanye onyana bamoshela for yona. So kuyacaca into yokuba bona bashishina ngalento unobangela babe kanti benza ezinto sobabe namhlanje sibe sifumana ezinto nezinye izinto ezidukileyo singasaziboniyo ngoku kodwa bezikhona umsebenzi wabo.
This gentleman saying, Praten, briefly, that what we have in front of us is lots of money, but also he said it's methamphetamine and also mandrax, which is wrapped up in the plastic bag. I'm going to continue our conversation. Indoni ke ngoku enye into enifuna uyibhaqa apha ngoba bekho izityholo ezininzi kule area.
Yes, kuyacaca into yoba zikhona ezinye izinto ezikhoyo apha kuba kunegumbi elingavulekiyo ekuthiwa alinasitshixo elingade livuleke. Kucaca uba mhlawumbi kulapho izinto zifihlwe khona.
Nizothatha esiphi isigqibo ke ngoku? Nizosivulela lo gumbi?
Asikwazi, but ke bona ngoku bazasifosela into yoba side siyenze because of task force in the CU. Ngoku bona ngoku xa besenza le nto bayenzayo kuqala sibacenga sithi sicela basivulele phayana ukwenzela into yoba singade kubekho idamage ekhoyo.
This community leader just further saying, Praten, that there is one room that they've identified that they cannot break into. They say that there also could be other items in that particular room. I'm going to try and continue our conversation because there's a lot of movement as well in the background with regards to some of the people who are part of this community forum raiding some of the rooms. Tata, masiqhubekeke. Ndicela ubuza ke ngoku into eqala ukwenzeka apha.
Leyo uthengisa kwezinto ewe into eyenzekayo kuba ixesha elininzi besikade simane siza apha but ubona uba bayasingwa nyamela but ke because of namhlanje sincediswa yi-community, then that's why ke ngoku bekwazile into yoba babelula olu hlobo balilo because baqhelile bona and ngokubona kwethu bona bayasebenzisana namapolisa kuba amapolisa if sike seza apha awananto yokwenza naloo nto leyo. Kodwa sikubone ngokuba xa senza irate ezifana nezi amapolisa iba ngawo asuka afuna ubamba thina sibanjwe thina.
All right, we're going to mount our camera and maybe move closer to where the action is taking place in the background, Praten. But just in the last conversation that this gentleman has made in his last comments, he said that they've lost faith in the police here in Mdantsane. He alleges that some of the police work with these criminals, and that is why a lot of the criminality takes place. But we're going to move into one of the rooms that has been now raided just to see what is taking place inside the room. I'm going to ask my colleague Nabantlangani to follow me and just find out what is going on here in the room. Sisi, ngicela usondele uqhubeka ntoni apha?
njani uba kuqhubeka ntoni kaloku?
Ngoba kaloku buxabana nabahlali apha.
Oh, bengaxabani uthi utata lo wawo kalubabalo ubuzile kuqala uba ndiyamazi na, ndathi ewe ndiyamazi. Wathi umntanakhe ebhubhile nje ubhubhe eswendini. Ndathi ke mna ke akhange ndenze into mna because ndingumntana ndiyintanga yomntanakhe. Akazuthi umntanakhe xa ibhubhile ubhubhe eswendini. Ndabe ndimxelela ndithi even imali yakhe yopeya ulubabalo isekhona ilapha.
Sisi, wena yintoni igalelo lakho apha, yintoni indima yakho?
Ngumakazi wam lo uhlala apha.
So wena uyimanager yale ndawo?
Andiyomaneja nomntana walapha.
Okay, ezi zityholo uba kubiwe ii-cables apha neethins, zikhona ii-cables ezibiweyo?
Futhi akho ii-cables, into ikopi esiyithengisayo ayithathwa yakwamasipala nasereclaim ayithathwa.
Yathatha ebiweyo?
Njani ebiweyo?
Ndiyabuza lokhu ngoba kukho abafana abanyolele ndawo bathi yiyo le ithengisa ethatha izinto zethu.
Iikopi zelantuka bendizikhuphile zabantu abathengisa apha of which ikhandiphinde ndizibuyiselwe because every time iyaza abantu bakwalantuka kwaprasa bazolantuka bazojonga istrap sonke then if only ababonanga nto then basayine isignature neencwadi zabo bayazifuna.
All right. That lady who just spoke to now, Pradan, saying that, this is a legal establishment. She is a family member of the owner of the scrapyard who has been accused of selling illegal scrap metal and also copper cables and other things. But as we saw earlier, we saw some drugs being taken away by the community forum here in Mdantsane. Probably try and step out because the community forum is now stepping out just to see what they are up to outside. They are still gathered here outside, and there's a block of flats where a lot of the raids also took place, where a number of confiscated items were also taken, and the raids continue, Pradan, and we do understand that there will be other raids in other scrap yards throughout the course of the day. This, of course, takes place after the vandalism that took place at Cecilia Makiwane on Tuesday. Yesterday, at least 2 alleged criminals were caught by this community forum. They were beaten up before they were taken by police. It was an action that was lauded by the MEC for Health here in the province, Nomokosazana Meth. She says that although she doesn't, agree with the methods of using heavy-handed tactics, but what the community forum is trying to do is trying to make sure that the streets of Mdantsane remain clean and without any criminals.
Ronald, before we leave you, just to verify, I see many individuals there dressed with camouflage uniforms. In my headline, I refer to possibly being MK veterans. Just confirm for us, who are these residents who are dressed in camouflage?
So they are community forum group members. This is their uniform, and they're very militant in their approach, as one of them said earlier on. And they want to make sure, Pratan, that the only way they say that these criminals will be brought to book is when they see that the community shows force. And by force, I mean we've seen a lot of people being slapped around, people who were allegedly involved in criminality being slapped around, being kicked around. We even have visuals of those actions. And they say this is the only way that they can deal with the situation, because the police has failed this community. And that is why they find that a lot of the crime is committed by the youth who feel unstoppable here in the community. And one gentleman that I spoke to earlier on, one of the eyewitnesses during this break-in and this acts of vandalism at Cecilia Makiwane, even said that some of these boys were actually laughing at him when he tried to stop their actions. And what we are seeing in the background is a truck also, searches happening in the truck. But just to come again to your question, it's just the uniform that they are wearing, and they're saying that their actions are militant actions, and it's the only way that they can stop the crimes. We are seeing more money, more stashes of money coming out from the truck, hidden from behind the couches, actually, in the background. So a lot of these searchers have unraveled a lot of things: drugs, money, cables, some of the copper that we saw, and also the taps that we saw are taps allegedly from Cecilia Makiwane Hospital. We even heard earlier that even the beds of the hospital were also stolen and sold to these scrapyards.
Thank you very much, Ronald Masinda. They're on the ground with what looks like is a very militant local community forum, dressed in that camouflage uniform, many of their members, and they are literally saying they are taking the law into their own hands because police are not helping them keep crime at bay in and around that area of Mdantsane in the Eastern Cape. This, of course, follows the cable theft from the Cecilia Makiwane Hospital. And we're going to leave it there for now. Thank you very much, Ronald Masinda. We'll get